In this video, we will show you how to import, align, as well as save and combine scans using the Additional Scans tool in Dental Designer. We will also demonstrate how additional scan can be sculpted, renamed and recolored, as well as used as a design reference. The Additional Scans Toolkit allows you to upload scans to your case outside the normal preparation, antagonist, and pre-preparation scans. The accepted file formats for additional scans are DCM, STL, HPS, and PLY, and you can import up to 20 additional scans in one case. Additional scans can, for example, be face scans, mock-up or wax-up scans, pre-preparation scans, double preparation scans, exported bone models for implant abutment designs, or new bite scans for fixed as well as removable restorative work. There are a couple of ways to bring additional scans into your case in Dental System. The first is before the design stages in the order form, and the second one is during the workflow in Dental Designer. In Dental System 24, the maximum number of scans was increased to 20. It is possible to add scans to your case in the Scan Settings section of the Dental System order form by selecting the Additional Scans icon. Simply browse for a scan on your PC. Select it and confirm your selection with Open. After a scan or scans are uploaded, it is possible to rename or delete a scan by first unfolding the Additional Scan menu, then selecting a scan, after which the rename and delete options are available. Renaming scans is recommended especially if there are multiple additional scans in the same case, as that will facilitate the identification of the scans during design. To delete an additional scan, select one from the drop-down list and select Delete. Another way of loading additional scans into your case is by using the Additional Scans tool. You can do this at any point of the workflow in Dental Designer. Additional Scans tool is located in the Tools on the right side of the screen. Once selected, the Additional Scans window opens. To import scans, select the Load tab followed by the Load button. You can now use the browser to locate and select a scan and confirm your selection by double-clicking or selecting Open. You can only import one scan at a time. Once loaded, the scan becomes visible on the screen and appears in the drop-down menu. Each imported scan has their own coordinates, and they may appear in various positions on the screen. You can now rename it to make it easier to identify the scan, or delete it if needed. Additional scans that have been imported in the order form will also be visible here, and all the available tools can be applied to them. Pre-preparation scan cannot be deleted or renamed. It is important to know that in the Load tab, you can select which jaw the additional scan is associated with. This will determine which scan or scans it can be aligned to. Each additional scan gets a visibility slider associated to it. The icon of the slider shows which major scan, preparation, or antagonist the additional one is linked to. If you have a scan with a negative surface, such as an impression, to be able to align it to a positive surface, the Swap Normals option must be enabled for that scan. The front and back face of the scans can be identified by the shade. Front face is displayed in normal colors. Back face is darker. Close Small Holes option, when enabled, closes small holes in the additional scan. Improving the scan surface quality helps make sure missing or bad quality data on the surface of the scan does not interfere with the subsequent design steps. If there are multiple scans in one case, it can be difficult to distinguish the scans from one another visually. Therefore, there is an option to change the color of an additional scan in the Additional Scans tool. The functionality is located in the Load tab. You will need to select the additional scan that you want to recolor from the drop-down menu first. Once selected, navigate to Set Color. A color selector will appear, and you can pick the color for the scan from the predefined ones, or define a custom shade. Once done, confirm your selection with OK. The set color will be visible when the scanner-acquired texture and materials shader visualizations are both turned off. The alignment of additional scans takes place in the Align tab of the Additional Scans tool in Dental Designer. In the drop-down menus, you can first select which scan you would like to align. Then it is time to select which scan you would like to align the scan to. If you cannot find the intended scan in the drop-down menu, make sure that you have the scan associated with the right jaw in the Load tab. It's good to know that also a pre-preparation scan can be aligned, even if it has not been added as an additional scan. There are 3 ways to complete the alignment, and some of them complement each other. The point and select alignment modes are based on algorithms. Move gives you manual control over the orientation and location of the scans, which we will cover first. The Move option for scan alignment is a fully manual tool to adjust the orientation and placement of a scan. Scans can be moved in a 2D plane by dragging them while holding down the left mouse button. You can control the orientation of scans with the arrows. Undo and Redo buttons can be used to undo or redo the previous action. Move alignment mode may not be the easiest option to use for the overall alignment process, but can significantly facilitate the other alignment types. For example, before using 3-point alignment or selection alignment, it is recommended to initially position the scans you are about to align in the same orientation on the screen, as this will help you look for alignment-friendly surfaces and mark or select them on both scans. It can also be used for fine-tuning an alignment result from point or selection alignment modes. Alignment with points can be done either by selecting one corresponding point, or alternatively, 3 corresponding points on both scans. If the scans overlap each other, it may be difficult to add the corresponding points. This is why you can use the Move tool to adjust the positioning. To do 1-point alignment, disable 3-point alignment, and you can proceed to adding 1 corresponding point on both scans. And confirm your selection by clicking Align. The result can be reset if needed. To use 3-point alignment, first enable the option. When doing a 3-point alignment, make sure to spread the alignment points on various surfaces on the scan and at a distance from one another. Place points can be moved by dragging. Select Align when ready. The outcome of this alignment type is very much dependent on how well the placement of the alignment points correspond to one another on the geometries of both scans. Make sure to be as precise as possible when placing the points. Click on Selection to activate Selection Alignment Mode in the Align tab of the Additional Scans tool. This alignment mode can be used in a few different ways. Firstly, in the Selection Alignment mode, the software analyzes both of the scans and looks for similarities. In some cases, where the scans are very similar to one another, you may only need to select Align, and the scans will be successfully aligned without further actions from the user. In cases where the scans have distinctly different geometries, we recommend first orienting the scans using the Move tool. After that, you can activate the Selection button and select or paint corresponding areas on both scans that can be used for alignment by holding down the left mouse button. This prompts the software to focus on these areas when aligning the 2 scans to one another. The diameter of the Selection tool can be changed by holding down Shift while turning the mouse scroll wheel. The selected area can be edited by clicking Deselect, which allows you to erase the selected red area. The selection can also be removed by activating Clear Selection if needed. When happy with the selected area or areas, select a line and inspect the result. You can reset the alignment if you are not happy with the result. The benefit of using the selection alignment mode is that it gives the selected areas a bigger emphasis in the alignment process compared to the rest of the scan, making it quite a robust alignment tool. Next, we will go over a few ways to assess the alignment quality. It is easier to evaluate the alignment results when scan color and textures are turned off. Visually, a good alignment looks like a camouflage pattern in areas where the surfaces are intended to be aligned together. The camouflage indicates the surfaces are on top of each other, with no significant differences in distance. Any big or irregular areas of only one scan visible in places where you would expect the scans to be closely together can be a sign of an unsuccessful alignment and need further inspection or a realignment. Same goes for scans that are visually separate from one another. A great way to evaluate the alignment quality precisely is, of course, the 2D cross-section tool available in the right side visual tools. To assess alignment quality, draw a line over the area of interest while holding down the left mouse button. This creates a 2D cross-section of that area, which appears in the tool window. Zoom into the area of interest and evaluate if the lines that represent the scan surfaces overlap. In case of differences, you may use the measurement tool to assess how big of a difference there is between the aligned scan surfaces. It is also recommended to check the alignment quality in the surrounding areas by moving the cross-section plane. Once done, you can close the window. The distance map tool can also be used to evaluate alignment quality. Remember that if the scans do not align exactly, the reason for that may also be in the general scan quality and dimensional accuracy. It is possible to save individual scans and design models, as well as combine sets of scans or design models from the case using the Additional Scan tool. Start by opening the Save tab in the tool. To save one scan, left-click on a scan/design model that you wish to save. The scan needs to be visible on the screen. The selected scan will now appear on the preview screen in the Additional Scans tool. Once the selection has been made, select Save Model. The individual scans and combined sets can be saved in DCM, HPS, STL, and PLY formats. To combine and save multiple scans or models together, hold down Control and left-click on the scans or models you wish to combine. When you see the right items on the preview screen, they are ready to be saved. Here you see an example of a scan and design element. In this case, a blockout wax design and a master model combined into a model. What is good to know is that if you attempt to save models belonging to encrypted libraries like certain denture teeth or implant components, the tool will not allow you to do that. In addition to that, the base part of abutments and implant bridges cannot be saved. The Keep Additional Information option allows you to save a model or models together with the additional information, such as splines and applied transformations, which is very relevant for creating tooth libraries from scans. It also saves scans in the current static occlusion that have been changed using the Byte Memory tool. Without this option enabled, scans will always be saved in default occlusion. Additional scans can be modified using a specific sculpt toolkit. Located in the right side of the screen, below the Additional Scans tool button, the tool contains a drop-down menu for selecting a specific additional scan for sculpting. For wax-up workflows, the wax-up scan is also available in this tool, so it can be adjusted before using it as a design reference. This toolkit is currently not available for a pre-preparation scan or a double preparation scans, but you can import them as additional scans instead if needed. Once a scan has been selected, the classic wax knife tools can be used to add material and remove material from the scan, as well as smooth the scan surface. The Morph tool can be used to change the shape of the scan by dragging its parts. Remove Artifacts tool has two modes available for additional scans. When Repair Surface is enabled, it can be used to remove objects from the scan, like dents, bumps, problematic artifacts, etc. Select the area or areas where the artifact or hole is by holding down the left mouse button. The selected area is colored red. The Selection tool diameter can be changed with the slider or by holding down Shift or Control and rotating the mouse scroll wheel. Confirm the removal by pressing the play button. If needed, the Clear Selection button can be used to remove the selection. The Remove Artifacts tool also allows you to remove scanned surfaces that are unnecessary. To do this, clear the Repair Surface checkbox, then select an area to be cut out. The tool controls work the same as before. To complete the removal, click the Apply button. Areas can be selected and removed multiple times. To undo or redo the most recent action performed, click the Undo or Redo buttons. Remember to select the whole area you wish to remove. The tool does not remove separate islands of scan data. Additional scans can be used as a design reference in a couple of different ways. A design can both be morphed to reflect the additional scan geometry, or the additional scan geometry can be used as a sculpting threshold. To morph a design to an additional scan, navigate to the Sculpt Toolkit, Smart Tools section in the Smile Composer workflow step in Dental Designer. In the Mirroring tool, there are two options available: Mirror/Copy from Scan and Morph to Additional Scan. It is good to know that the Mirror/Copy from Scan option only works for preparation scans and is not applicable to additional scans. Select the Morph to Additional Scan option. Now, select the additional scan that is to be used as the design reference from the drop-down menu. Hover over the design you intend to morph. It will appear highlighted in blue. Click on the design tooth when you want the morphing to happen. You have the option to adjust the percentage of smoothness with the slider. This post-process smooths out the surface of the design when the geometry is morphed to the additional scan. The higher the percentage defined, the stronger the smoothing effect will be. In cases where you have multiple designs, all design teeth have to be morphed to the additional scan one by one. If there are more than one additional scans in the case, always make sure that the additional scan selection in the drop-down menu is as intended before morphing. Next, we will give you some tips on how the morphing results can be improved. The better the detailed definition on the additional scan is, the better the result of this operation. So, if necessary, sculpt on additional scan can be performed prior to morphing to improve the scan geometry. For example, the better the marginal and approximal definition of each tooth on the additional scan is, the better the morphing result will be. We recommend to pre-design the library tooth to an approximately right position and size prior to using the Morph to Additional Scan functionality. Library teeth that are considerably bigger or smaller than the geometry of the additional scan can struggle to morph into the right shape, especially at the gingival margin and interproximal contact areas. Also, it is a good idea to connect a cemented restoration to the margin line, when possible, prior to morphing to an additional scan for more predictable results. It is also possible to use an additional scan as a sculpting threshold for the wax knife tool, which can give precise control over the design. This tool is particularly good for fine-tuning the design. This functionality is available in the wax knife tool. In the Smile Composer workflow step, under the Single Tooth Tools category, threshold sculpting works for both the plus and minus tools in the wax knife. From the desired thickness options, activate the additional scan icon and select the additional scan you wish to use as a sculpting threshold from the drop-down menu. Then set the desired distance value to the additional scan. Here are some examples of different desired distance value effects. The tool will only add or subtract material until the defined desired distance to the additional scan surface has been met. If you find that the threshold sculpting is not giving you the desired result, the issue might lie in the surface normals of the scan. This can happen if a scan has a complex geometry, such as this example of a scan of an occlusal rest and RPD connector. To correct the behavior, open the Load tab of the Additional Scans tool. Select the additional scan in question from the drop-down menu and select Swap Normals. You can now close the Additional Scans tool and commence with threshold sculpting in the Wax Knife tool. It is good to understand that excess material may hinder the threshold sculpting against complex geometries, and in these situations, it is recommended to start the threshold sculpting after the sculpted surface is already roughly modeled close to the right geometry.